Okay, guys, everybody's been wanting the personalized box done a little bit bigger. And this is about the biggest that we can go on this. And this is for a plate, an 8-inch plate. And that's like a, I don't know, a dessert plate or a cookie plate that you guys are doing for Santa. And someone else wanted a tutorial on putting the personalized box together rather than just telling you on screen like I did the other one. So I'm going to combine them both and do it all. Um, First of all, let's go over the pieces. And this one is mine. Now, I do have the file in there for you guys, and it'll say shared right there. It's going to look a little different, and it's just because I've got everything laid out for you guys, and it hasn't been moved around. This is the box bottom right here. Let me get you. This one is the bottom. Then you have, if you're not using craft board, especially if you're putting a plate in there, I'm going to suggest you cut an extra piece, maybe 2 of these squares, to line the bottom of the box and sturdy it up. Craft board, if you're using that, you probably will not need this. If you're using just a regular craft paper, I would suggest at least 1. Then you're going to have the lid, which has the hole in it. This gray piece is going to go under the lid after you've made your box. It's going to go on the inside. That's your acetate, your clear window. And then this piece, after you've put your window in, this piece goes over the window inside to finish that off so that the acetate doesn't pop loose or you can't see it. You might even want to make your acetate just a little bit smaller just by scrunching it in, just so that it gives that paper piece here something to adhere to on the edge of the boxes. I made it larger to where it fits in there for those who do not use this piece, because I have noticed a lot of people made them and they did not use this piece. So I made this larger so that it would fit snug, but I'm going to make my piece of acetate just a tiny bit smaller, and you can see I've left it behind there, but I know that it's the right size because when I highlight it, those blue lines tell me what size it is. So I know it'll fit in there, and then the area between the blue line and the score line is where this piece will glue in on that inside, and you see it comes up to the score lines. And that's going to just finish off your project and make it pretty. So when they take that top off, you can, it's going to give it that finished, what I call the Hallmark look, because it's done so well. To put a personalization on here, I've got a couple of videos that tell you how to personalize and stuff like that. So I'm not going to go into that on this one. I'm just going to go over here to images, just so for a refresher for you guys who haven't done it. And I'm going to get that Merry Christmas logo that I usually use, because there are tons of stuff in here, guys, and if you use a layered font, you're going to have the same thing. I just like this one because I like that double layer, and I'm going to insert the image. I'm not going to do anything to it until I position it like I want. And if you don't want to put this in here at all, you don't have to. You can just make the plain box. And I'm just going to stretch it so that it fits. And I always like to kind of turn mine a little bit. You just want to make sure that it fits over the edge of the box, but inside the score lines, because you don't want your layers here, your darker layer, which is dark green here, and the gold, to hang over the score line, because it'll be folded down in there and it's not going to look right. So we've got that. Now that it fits inside those score lines nicely, let's see, I don't want those little bitty corners cut out there. That looks good. You stretch it a tiny bit more. And now I'm going to ungroup it. And I'm going to move that out of the way. And I'm going to move that out of the way. Let's select both of these and pull them down just a little bit further so I have room to work without catching other pieces. And you can see that I'm right there at the score line with this, and that's fine. I just don't want to go over because my words are that I have up here are going to be glued down over that, and I don't want them hanging over the edge of the score lines. So now I'm going to come over here and I am going to select this, well, just the back piece, and detach. And the best thing to do here, guys, is to arrange, move this to the back, select your score line, and come over here and hide it. Usually I just move them to the back and select both pieces, but that confused some people last time. Select both of these pieces and weld. Whatever your bottom color is, that's the color it's going to change. Now I have a little piece right there, and that might cause a problem cutting that on craft board. So if that happens to you, you may want to rearrange it. So I'm going to undo. And I am going to just ever so slightly drop that down. And I am going to come over here and unhide those score lines and double check it. And I'm still within those score lines on that, so I'm good. I'm going to hide that. Going to select them both again and weld. And now that's gone. So these will cut fine, but if you've got a teeny tiny hole, that might cause a problem. Now I'm going to come back and unhide the score lines. Select this piece, arrange it, and move it to the back so you can see your score lines. Select them both and attach. Now this is ready to cut. If I forgot to tell you guys, before you do this, it's only a couple of steps, so I'm going to undo it before I go any further. I want to get that green back. This piece, I should have done this before I started that, and I just forgot. Let me unhide, attach. I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to hide it. That way I have one that hasn't had anything done to it at all. I'm going to detach, and I'm going to redo what we just went over in the video. Let me just hide that. And arrange, move that to the back, weld, come back and unhide those score lines. That's one with the box. Here we go. Oops, nope, I had it right. Arrange, move it to the back, select, and attach. Now I have a spare. Excuse me, I had a tickle in my throat. Now I have a spare that does not have anything in it so that I can change it at any time. Range, move it forward. Move this forward so I can see it. Range. Now I am going to be cutting my box out of the gold. This is going to be of the craft board. This back, the bottom piece. This top piece, I am going to cut out of the gold foil poster board. So I'm going to change that color so when it cuts in the gold. I want this piece to also cut in the gold. I don't think I'm going to get it out of there. I might have to do that in a different color so I don't have to search for cardstocks. But you're now going to pick your colors and change your colors on your mats. Maybe I'll do silver for my words and red. So I'm going to do this piece in red. And I'm going to do this in silver. And they're going to fit right there on that box when I cut them. So now I am ready to save my project. Make sure you save often if you're doing this. Like I said, make one that you haven't touched so you always have a blank to work from. And now I'm going to make it. And I will be back with you guys on camera and we'll put this together. So go ahead and get all of this. I'm using for my acetate, I'm not using just a clear piece. I am using the metallic foil, I think in stars. So you guys pick out your products and get them ready, and I'll see you on camera to assemble the box. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you, I have clicked on Make It and I have connected, and I'm going to click View All here and type in Craft with a K and search, and it's going to bring up my craft board. For those of you who have an Explorer rather than a Maker, you're going to put your dial on Custom, and you're going to do the same thing and search for your craft board. And once you have it, then you're going to load the tools. So it says we're going to need the scoring tool, our firing tip blade, and to load the mat. So a couple of people were asking to show the whole process, so I am going to do that. The rest of you can skip over. Let me just change out my blade. I had my deep cut in there, and I don't need that for this. Let me place that in. Let me show you how we do that. I don't mean to jiggle or bump you guys, but you're just going to open these clamps, place in the blade, push this clamp in, and clip here. And that's all there is to changing the blade on that for the Maker. It's going to be the same for the Explorer as well. And I'm going to try to zoom out so you guys can see. I'm going to be using the light blue mat for this. It's a new mat, so I don't see that it's going to have a problem with the craft board. And I like to use the 24-inch mats because I can place, don't know if you guys can get all of this on camera. It's very sticky. I can place my craft board for the bottom on here, which is my first piece that it's asking me to cut on screen. I'm just going to follow along with the mats, and I'm going to load it. And that gives me space on my table here to work. As you can see, it's loading. But before I hit that cut button, my next mat is going to be the frame that goes on the inside of the box. And for that finishing piece, I'm not going to use my expensive craft board. I'm just going to use a piece of plain white paper because it's just a finishing piece. And I am going to put it on the other end of this 24-inch mat. So now I have that piece down here, and I have the craft board up here. Just a little trick that I like to do. And I'm going to hit the go button. And on screen here, it's showing you that it is cutting. Please don't pay attention to the mess in my craft room because it looks like an explosion went off in here. I'm decorating for Christmas and everything all at the same time. And so we're just going to let that score and cut. And then we're going to flip the mat around and hit the go button again and let it cut that frame. Then I'm just going to peel everything off the mat and cut the next ones in the same manner. And because this is craft board, it's not going to let me go in fast mode, I don't believe. I didn't see the option, so I didn't select it. If you've got the Air 2 or the Maker, you can select fast mode on these. If you find that your blade isn't cutting all the way through with the settings that recommended by Cricut and you're using Cricut materials, you need to check that blade. Either punch it into a ball of foil for a few times and see if that helps. And if it does not, then you'll need to replace your blade. A few people have been having problems, especially if you're doing intricate cutting. It can dull the blade pretty quickly. If you're cutting a lot of glitter and heavy cardstocks like the craft cardstock. This blade I've been using for, I don't know, maybe 2 months, and it's still doing well. And I cut a lot, guys, because I cut like 12 sheets of paper doing the cup box to make sure that it was right and that it fit together. This one was a previous box I just resized, so I only cut 3 sheets of paper that I wasted. And my nails, my top coat is gone. I'm getting blue smudges on my cardstock. I think I can erase that off though. And I'm just going to cut the frame now. And then I will peel the rest of this off. I just peeled the outer frame off of there. I almost hit go again, but I had already hit it. And it's telling me that my next piece is the box top. So I'm going to get that piece out and ready. While that's cutting, I am going to be using the Cricut foil acetate. This is the metallic sampler. I am using the stars out of this one, I believe, is what I chose for that. Another thing that I am using on this, guys, is the craft board in white. You'll find that at Cricut. I'll provide links. Well, my Cricut link is always below in all the videos. And if you guys are looking for the file, you'll have to click Show More in the description to get that. If you're on a mobile device, I think there's a little arrow in the top right. If you click that, then you will be able to see that file. And I just realized I forgot to take that off a craft board for that frame, so it probably cut through to my mat, which is something you don't want to do because it's not really going to affect anything. This mat is really sticky and this is really thin paper. If it cuts into the mat, it did a little bit. Let me see if I can show you guys on camera. There's a little bit of a cut mark, but it's okay. That just dulls your blade faster, is the only thing. And I'm going to let you guys see. If I pull this paper like this, it curls because that's a really sticky mat. It's brand new. A trick is to pull the mat back slowly. You don't want to bend it too much. You'll break the mat. I don't know about these new mats, but the old mats, it would snap. But you're just going to gently remove it, and I forgot to take the sticker off the back of that piece of paper, but it's okay. That's where glue is going to go anyway. This piece is a little delicate, and this is really thin paper. Just be careful, you don't want to rip it. Your spatula will come in handy, however I can't reach mine. Same thing with this craft board. I'm going to turn the mat over and kind of fold it, and it'll start to, let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. There we go. And just roll the mat away from the paper. And see, I don't have that much curl in it. So that's the way you want to do that with the new mat. You can also, a lot of people, including myself, especially with the green mat, I tap a t-shirt to that so that I can get some of the tack off and get my paper off easily. Now I am going to skip, because I did mine in craft board, I'm going to skip that panel, that square panel that goes in the bottom, but you can cut that out of decorative paper if you want to have a piece of decorative paper in the bottom of the box. So let me skip that one on my computer. And next it's asking me for the acetate piece. So I am going to place my acetate on the mat. And I believe I've got, yes, the silver side. If you're using the gold stars, the silver side is the piece with the protective plastic on it. You're just going to place it face up on the mat. And then we will peel off that protective coating before we use it, and I will show you that as well. And I've loaded my mat. I need to change my material, so I'm going over and I'm going to click on the craft board. I'm going to click that View All button that we did to get the craft board. If you're on an Explorer, you're going to go to Custom, and you're going to type in acetate, A-C-E-T-A-T-E. There we are, and it's the foil acetate. That's the one you want to select if you're using the Cricut product. If you're just using like overhead projector, you'll use acetate or transparency. Then I'm clicking done, and I'm going to hit the go button again. And then the next piece is going to be my silver foil. I just set that on there while it's cutting. That takes practice, trust me. Especially if it's cutting something intricate or really fast. You want to do it before that mat starts moving around. I still have my Thanksgiving color cloth on here. I have to get my Christmas one out. I plan on doing that when I do my decor here inside today. And then I'm just going to flip this around and cut my next piece. But before I hit the cut button, I'm going to change that to foil poster board. Type in foil poster, there it is. I'm going to select that and click done, and I'm going to hit the go button. And I pulled this off the mat, and it appears that it didn't cut. I know, it looks like it did, but if you'll just lift up like one of the corners, you'll see that protective coating. It didn't cut all the way through on that, and I can just peel it away. And it did cut. It cut perfectly, beautifully. So I have that piece ready to go. And that also tells me the next time I go to cut which piece I have here. Now you can cut that off if you want. I just leave it. It doesn't bother me. I am also using the red Cricut cardstock. It's cutting much bigger than I thought it would. Let's see. And it's done, so we're going to pull that out, and you can see how that is cut. I'm going to move this red piece because I did miss when I put it on there. I don't want to cut the edge of my M off. And there we go. Just going to press that down and feed that in. That's the red part. That's what it's telling me is cutting next. And this video may be a little bit long, but like I said, we have a lot of new people. Some have never had a Cricut before. So you guys, let's all help them out and be patient with answering their questions, because we were all new at one time. And even though it seems like a simple thing, or it may get monotonous answering the same question all the time, you have to remember, these guys are brand new. And they have never used a Cricut before. They need this information from you. So I appreciate everybody that goes through and answers questions when I'm not available to answer them and help these guys out. Because that's what the group is about. It's a community, and we're supposed to come together, and like the old saying goes, it takes a village. So let's all be that village and help everybody as much as we possibly can, not just through the holidays, but at any time. And that one has finished cutting. So we're going to peel it because I've got a new mat. Once your mat starts to break in, you can start peeling this from the front and it won't bend so much. That one got a little bend in it, but it's not going to hurt anything. I can still use that. It'll flatten back out, trust me. And then I've got the same with my red. I'm going to do the bulk of it because it's down here. You can see I'm just holding it with my hand and peeling the mat away from the paper. Loosen up this corner. It just takes a little bit of patience and a little bit of time, guys. You'll learn it. It'll come. And when that light goes on, you'll think, wow, how easy is this? And I'm just getting my Merry Christmas off there. You want to be easy with these delicate pieces. Don't worry if these pieces are in there. You can just pop them right out if they come up with it. Just going to save that to the side. And now I'm going to do the same thing and peel this Merry Christmas over here. Just be gentle. Get that piece out of my way. This always makes me nervous with the new mat. I'm just going to take my time so I don't tear it. Working it from all the angles. If I could reach my spatula, that would really help. And use your spatula to lift this up, guys. There we go. And I got that off of there. I'm just going to get rid of the excess that I have that's hanging on. And push it through to the back. I found this best, especially on foils and things of that nature. Because you might have a little hanger on there and you don't want to tear the front foil. If it tears the back paper, it's not going to show. And then we have that piece. I'm going to set that to the side. And now I need to get these pieces off my mat, and I have lost my scraper. I can't live without my scraper. There it is. I set a box of stuff off of my, this is the extra large scraper, guys. I recommend you get this from Cricut. It's going to save you a ton of time and trouble. I don't know how I lived with that small scraper before they came out with this and I got it. I love that one. Okay, and the next piece is my box top, which is the gold foil. And make sure that your setting is right for the foil poster board. And I apologize, I kicked that tripod. I don't want to make you guys seasick. I may have to lower it so I can get that leg out of my way. And we're just going to hit go and let the box top cut. Another thing that you guys may want to use for your box top might be the foil embossed paper. Ooh, that was really good. That foil poster board has a coating on it, so that squeaking you heard was the scoring tool squeaking across it. I don't know if you guys can hear that. That is the scoring tool squeaking across that plastic coating on that foil poster board. But that stuff is so nice. I love working with it. And we're just about done. And then we'll start assembling. You're going to need some type of glue. I'm working with the poster board now. As I said in that other box that I did for the Daytona ornaments, I don't recommend using glue with the foil poster board because of the plastic coating that's on it. That plastic coating tries to interfere. It doesn't really interfere. All the glue, the water from the glue is sucked up from the bottom and it doesn't penetrate the top like it does other cardstocks, so it doesn't dissipate as much and it makes it look lumpy. Now it did, I need to change blades, it looks like. It did dissipate and go down some, but I could still see little lumps and bumps where the glue was, and I don't like that. So I'm going to recommend that you use either a Creative Station sticker maker for the foil parts, or that you use some red line tape. And I just get they have a brand name, but I just get these that are on sale at Joann's and stuff, and that's the ones I use in place. Now if you get little places like this when you're cutting, that means that your blade is dulling and you need to either punch it into some foil and get rid of that and clean it off, and if it still continues you need to replace your blade. But I think I'm going to be okay with that. There's not a whole lot of waste on this box, guys. If you don't cut a word out of yours, then of course you're going to have a nice piece of scrap there that you can use for a card or something else later down the line. I'm just going to peel that back. I am just working on taking the box off. Maybe I should take the excess off first to make it easier for you guys to see. Not a whole lot of waste here on that. And again, just fold your mat back. And that's the waste piece right there. And I'm going to use my scraper just to help hold those words down while I go through there, because you don't want to rip them off of the sides of the box, especially if you just got it holding in a very thin area. Your spatula works well here too, but since I can't reach mine, and I keep forgetting to get it when I go over there. And I'm just going to set my mat to the side, take that piece out, and I'm going to work with getting that little piece out by punching it to the back. It isn't too bad. And that's what I mean. If it tears a little bit, it tears to the back instead of tearing the foil off the front. And I think I'm going to be fine there. I don't think there's a problem with it. So first we want to do the bottom of the box. And if you want to stamp your box showing that you made it, anything like that, then now's the time to do it. And I like to kind of stamp on mine that it's handcrafted by me. So I've got my little stamp on the bottom of the box. And then you're just going to, I might have got that stamp a little high, but that's okay. It's not going to show. You're going to work with your scoring. And fold. Actually, I stamped that on the wrong side, but that's okay. I'll fold it the other way. And you might want to use your bone folder on this craft board because it is really stiff. And fold on all your score lines. Everything goes to the inside. I don't recommend using that bone folder on the foils. It might scratch it. All the tabs go in. I got one more fold here. And then you're going to fold these tabs in I am going to glue these on the craft board, but you can certainly just use tape if you prefer. Just going to hold that for a second. And we're going to work with the next tab. All your tabs are folded on the inside of the box, guys. Don't put your tabs to the outside. Make sure that all the tabs are inside the box. And I'm using the Art Glitter Glue. You can get this at Blitsy. I have a link to Blitsy, and you can also get it on Amazon. There's also a link below to Amazon. There's a link to Cricut. So you can find all the materials that we're using and the tools. You can find those at those places. And that is the bottom of the box. Now, if you did not use the craft board and you want to sturdy this up, and you can even sturdy it up with the craft board, put that panel in here that I did not cut. You can put that in here, or you can put some decorative paper in there, anything that you want. And let me grab my plate so you guys can see that 8-inch plate fits in there with a little bit of room. I wanted to give it a little bit of room in case somebody had an 8.5-inch plate. So that it would, but a piece of tissue and all of that, once you get all of that in there, you want room in there for that kind of stuff, especially if you're gift giving. And if you're not, and it's not securing for you, put a glue dot on the bottom, put a piece of decorative paper or something in there, and put a small repositionable glue dot to hold your plate in place so it doesn't shift. But I always use the tissue, so. The next thing we want to do is fold the top. And of course, you know your pretty side. Everything is folded to the inside, to the white side, or the side that you're not using. You're just going to fold all of these tabs in. And then, of course, the tails on the two sides get folded just like the bottom did. And this is what I'm saying, do not use the glue on that. I almost reached for it. I don't like the lumpy bumpy. And I'm just going to cut some strips of this red line tape. And I'm just going to place it on the tab itself, as you can see there. And then I'll peel them all at the same time and stick them. But for now, I'm just going to cut my pieces of tape and put on there. And this is really strong tape. And I have put this on all 4 of the tabs. So you should have your tabs looking like this. And then you're just going to peel that coating off, the red coating off. And I like to sit my box down and make sure my edges are even, and then press so that you're keeping your box square. And if you have trouble peeling that red piece off, just use your weeding tool from Cricut. Mine's kind of all messy, but I use it for everything. That's why I have extras. And help peel that off. Just gotta keep it straight there. And press. And press it. This stuff's got static electricity in it. It's sticking all to me. And that's the way it should look at this point. And you're just going to flip it over, and we're going to work on this portion. And here is our acetate. If your acetate didn't peel like mine did, remember that mine was stayed on the major piece, then you'll want to peel that off. and just kind of dry fit it. Like I said, I made mine smaller because I've got that frame and I want to have room for it to stick. So I am not going to use glue. Normally I glue my acetate in, but because I'm using the foil, I'm going to use tape. So if you're using cardstock or whatever, you can glue this piece in instead of using the red line. And I need to put it on the front, if you're using tape, on the front of your acetate. If you're using glue, you can just put it inside the box. My allergies are trying to kick in. And I am going to get this over to the edge as much as I can. I don't want it to show through my window. And if you're curling up like I am, pull that up and don't stretch your tape. Let it relax and be on there. If you stretch it, then you're going to get out of alignment there and make your acetate curl. You definitely don't want that. And then I am just going to peel. I'm going to go ahead and peel that before I put my next piece on. And try to butt up right against it instead of overlapping it. You don't want to make it lumpy. Because I have a wrinkle in mine. Let me put my tape down for a second so it doesn't stick to everything. And fix that. I've got a little wrinkle right there in my tape. And it may not make a difference, but it might. There. I think that's okay now. And then I'm just going to put on the next piece. And if you want to overhang this like halfway, it should work just fine. And that way you're still going to have stick for that frame. That looks good. And I'm just going to fold that one back. I'm not peeling that one completely off. I'm just going to fold it back slightly, and I'll show you why just here shortly, just so I can grab hold of it in a minute. All four sides. You want to tape. And then I'm just loosen that one up too. Doesn't want to stay folded back. The actual red line stays folded back a little bit better, but I'm going to work with it. We're okay. I just want those tails sticking off the side. And one more side here. And I'm going to peel that one back part way as well. Okay, now I've got my box, and I am going to, the side that I took the tape completely off of, I am going to place in. I have a little piece of plastic there. Somehow, from my tape, there we go. It's like it's stuck on the edge. It didn't completely peel, but that's okay. I got it. And then I've got that piece stuck in, and it's in place. Where these other are lifting up, I am going to peel it part way and stick it. Same here. That way you've got room to adjust if you need to on your tapes. And that looks good. It's in there. And then you can just peel out those tapes and press down. And that's just so you can get that in there, make sure that it's centered and square. And just press those down. And then you want the frame piece. Again, if you're using foil, you'll want to tape this. If you went halfway, and I put a wrinkle in mine. Try not to wrinkle yours. If you're using regular cardstock or craft board or craft paper, you can certainly glue yours. And you don't want to hang off the edge on this piece. You want it all inside. The taped ones take a little bit longer if you're using foil than the others. The others will go together really quickly if you're gluing. And I know mine looks like it's all warpy, but I got off on a corner over there, but I think I can fix it when I put it in the box. And then I'm going to peel this back. Same thing, I'm going to try to peel back one at a time. I forgot to dry fit. Oh, I stuck to my finger and tore my frame. Yeah, it's going to fit. Yeah, be careful if you're gluing, if you're taping, because I just tore my frame piece. And I'm just laying it in so that it's not showing through the window, but covering up the edge of the acetate so that it looks finished. Because to me, I just don't like this with the tape and the glue and stuff showing, and that's why I do this. And if you tore yours like I did, don't fret it. It's going to be okay. It'll show. It won't show on the bottom too much. We're going to line it up to where it doesn't. Try to get further in. I'm not paying attention here. Probably should have had another cup of coffee. Definitely don't want that sticker to show through, so I've got to. I'm just holding it up till I get it to the other side. Pushing it back, taping that down. I don't know, it might be easier if you break a corner and peel that way to get it to line up well. There we go. I'm going to live with it. It's not that bad. And now we have the box top almost complete. Now make sure you press all your tapes and your glues down. Give that time to dry. And I'm going to set this off to the side because I'm using the foil. I don't want to have to try to make that tape all over the place, so I'm going to use my Creative Station and open this up, and you're going to put your image in face up till it sticks, and then you're just going to turn this, and it's going to come out the back, and then we're going to cut it. And just so that you guys can see that one more time, these things are awesome. I'm just going to roll it in face up. It's going to come out the back. Then when you see the end of your thing, make sure that you're not cutting on it. And then you're going to slice it off with the little cutter on the back. Then you're just going to rub it. I apologize if I shake the camera. I don't mean to. My table is shaking. But you want to make sure you get in all those holes. Just run your finger over them. And we have just created a sticker. I'm going to peel this plastic piece off, And this plastic piece will be sticky wherever you have the backing showing. You're going to have sticky on that clear piece. This is not sticky, but the back of it is. And we're just going to peel off slowly the backing piece. And we're going to, now I don't know if you guys can see this, I got a couple of places where I didn't get all that glue and it didn't pull off. I don't want that showing on my box, so I'm going to run, that's why this is sticky. I'm going to run this around the edge and get rid of that. Also, there's a thing called a gum eraser, and so if you don't want to be patient and do this part, you can put it down and then use your gum eraser and get rid of any excess glue. Because that's basically what this is a glue. And we're just getting rid of all the little stickies around any edge. And then we're just going to stick this down in place on the box. I think I said, there we go. And then you have your first layer. Now we're going to do the same thing with the Merry Christmas. I'm going to rub it. You can use your bone folder. I'm going to try to get in there a little bit. I don't know why it's shaking my tripod. It shouldn't be touching the table. Maybe because I bumped it. There we go. But I'm just going to go around the edges of these. Try not to scar your foil poster board. I'm going to rub that out. Yeah. If you indent your poster board accidentally like I just did, just rub it out. It will rub out. Just mainly the little bitty holes, things like that. Anywhere it's raised up usually is where it's needs some pressing. And those little holes. I'm just going in. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm way off there. Just going in the holes of the letters. Rubbing it down. Same thing, you're going to peel the sticky piece off the top. Because the stick is actually on this white paper, but it sticks to that clear cellophane anywhere you don't have your image. And then we're just going to gently peel this off. You don't want to rip this. This is your delicate piece. And again, I'm going to take this tool in any place that I may have missed getting that glue. I'm going to get that out of there. Be very careful. It's very sticky. It will stick to you, and if you snatch your finger away too quick, it will rip it, because it does not want to turn loose of your fingers. Okay, that looks pretty good. I scarred mine. You guys be careful rubbing on your foil because it does indent a little easily, but it's so pretty. Make sure you're lined up correctly before you press this down, because once it's pressed down, it's there. And that looks good to me. I'm going to flip it over and press. And there we go. We have completed the plate box. Now the personalized box goes together just the same way. And you can personalize or not personalize. And there you have that plate box. And let me just show you the plate. This is only 8-inch plate I could find really quickly. So that's what we're using. Your cookies for Santa plate will look great in that for gift giving or whatever. Put your piece of tissue or some decorative paper behind it. It's going to fit beautifully. And I did make this a little bit deep so that any plate that had more curvature would still fit in there. You guys have a wonderful day. Please click on the Crafting with April logo there in the right hand corner and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up on the video. Also, come over to the Facebook groups, Cricut Crafting and Cricut Maker Projects. Join one or both. And if you have any questions, anything of that nature, ask them in the group. You're going to get an answer much quicker than asking on the video here. So just go to the group, ask your questions. Somebody's going to help you. I try to be there as much as I possibly can to help you guys. And we have some wonderful moderators, Jamie and Sue, that help as well as having some fabulous members that are always willing to help. You guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed this project. We'll see you on the next one.